Hello all YouTubers, I'm the Weather Dude. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. Thank you over to you back into another tropical discussion video for June 11th, 2020. Before I get on with today's video, however, I would ask that you please do subscribe because sadly, tons of my watch time has been coming from unsubscribed viewers. We are on our way to our next goal of 600 subscribers, and thank you guys so much, by the way, for 500 subscribers. Let's get to our next goal of 600 subscribers, alright? So please do subscribe, and also, this applies to every single one of you, please watch the whole video as well as liking and sharing the video. Thank you. Now let's get on with today's video. So for today, we're going to be talking about a tropical disturbance in the Eastern Pacific. There is one that we're watching in the Atlantic as well. If the development chances do start to grow, we'll be doing a video on that as well. But right now, it does have a near zero chance of development. It had 10% by National Hurricane Center. It recently dropped to 0, but we'll see because of the environment it's sitting in, not the best. But we're going to see, we're going to monitor that one as well. But before I get started, I did a video on the upcoming heat wave, and a very serious heat wave at that. So please check that out on the top right corner of your screen after this video. Now, as for the Pacific here, this is the tropical disturbance. It has a higher chance of development. I think the development chances were near 40 to 60% chances during the day. They have dropped a little bit. As of 11 o'clock this morning, actually, it went down to 30%, but still something to keep our eyes on. It's a tropical disturbance that when the moisture fades out, sometimes what happens is these tropical systems can move this way and it gets caught up in the jet stream and it gets fed back into the subtropical flow and flown back into the United States. So one way or another, unless it moves completely out to sea in the middle of nowhere, at some point, this will probably pretty much catch on some moisture and move into the United States. When? We're not sure. But who knows if this could impact the United States directly? Most likely not. But as of now, it has a 30% chance of development in the next 5 days. Within the next 48 hours, has no chance of development. A broad area of low pressure is forming well south of the Baja. All right, so maybe a couple intense waves for the Baja, but other than that, not much right now. Environmental conditions are only marginally conducive, so not the best conditions for development. But and if it does develop, it will be moving. It will be developing slowly, not going to be a rapid strengthener. We'll be moving in a west northwestward direction. All right, over time. So let's take a look at this here. And one of the positives for this storm is that the ocean temperature anomalies where not where it's sitting now, but where it will be heading. The ocean temperatures could be. We're talking about over, near 2, even 2.5, near 2.5 degrees Celsius above average, which is about 4 or 5 degrees Fahrenheit above average. So, for example, if the average water temperature was like 78, it would be 82, 83 instead. As for our actual sea surface temperatures in the region that this tropical disturbance will be moving into, we're talking about 29 degrees Celsius, which is well into the, I'd say, mid, but more upper 80s. That's more like 86, 87, almost, more like 86 degrees Fahrenheit, which is very warm, and that definitely does support tropical development. Here's a GFS model. All right, so let's plot this thing out here at pretty much at 5 days out. There's a lot of lows to keep your eyes on, but the particular one we're watching is right there. That's the one we're watching near 120 degrees west longitude and just about 11 or 12 degrees north latitude, roughly. This will be moving. We'll be getting some strength briefly. Might go down to 10 to 8 millibars of pressure at some point. Other than that, though, it's pretty much just along this big convection bubble that's just moving across the equator. Pretty much it's going to do that for the next few months and pretty much through the fall as well. This low doesn't seem to break off, though. It just stays right on that conveyor belt here, and then another one emerges. And the National Hurricane Center probably is going to keep it on every single one of these, but really the GFS model doesn't really develop it that much. Let's take a look at the cyclonic vorticities. Let's go to 4 days out. All right, so there's 4 days out. Now we go out 5 days. I do see some spin. It's a very little intense than the rest of the convective trough is that we have setting up here. But it does stand out a little bit from the rest, as you can see. It may briefly develop a little stronger center. Could it be a tropical depression? Definitely won't be subtropical, right? Storms this close to the equator usually are not going to become subtropical, more tropical, actually. And you can see, but after 5, 6, 7 days out, this thing just kind of withers away as it moves away from that convective conveyor belt over time. And here's the surface pressure. Now, this is the surface winds, but this is also the full resolution surface pressure. So you're gonna see a lot of L's and a lot of H's on the map probably at some point. And you see there's a lot of surface low pressure systems, but I'll be able to identify you guys which one is the one we're watching here. And the one we are watching is obviously the one that's pretty much sitting at 11 degrees north latitude and 120 degrees west longitude. So I'll give you guys about 5 seconds to guess which one you think it is. If you guessed this one, you are correct. It is this one right here, the one that says 10-11 millibars of pressure. And it is right over, again, 120 west longitude, 10 degrees north latitude. There is a pretty strong low up there. I'm interested to see what really how that could possibly develop. Maybe like a little coastal storm, but that could be going to the United States. But there's your full resolution there. We do have some stronger winds, maybe near 25, 30 miles an hour. But again, GFS doesn't quite develop this yet. It's just like any other low. It's boring. It doesn't do much, and it just keeps going westbound towards Hawaii. I'm not saying it's going to hit Hawaii, but it's going towards Hawaii. Now, in terms of these shear anomalies, all right, the shear anomalies are actually above average. I'm pretty sure they have the latest run now, so now I get to see better. But over time, though, I mean, this is through the 16th, which is exactly 5 days from now, and if the storm does form, we'll be developing in this region. And then after that, it'll be moving. And as the storm is moving through that area, as it's starting to move out a little bit, we're gonna have our classic, trough setup right here. So here's your trough digging in. Got kind of a low pressure system, seeing some lower shear. But here's your jet stream. That's really gonna send the shear, or send the cloud tops flying well off to the north and east if the storm happens to be moving through that. So if the storm was to develop over that region, which is pretty much encapsulated right here, it's gonna have to develop in a short amount of time, because after that, the wind shear is going to start to kick in and things won't be too pretty for the system. All right, so let's take a look at the actual wind shear values now. Now, again, the low pressure itself is sitting right here, and keep in mind, even though the low pressure is sitting there, your cloud tops are probably going to be sitting right about here. All right, your cloud, all your energy is going to be sitting around the system, around the storm system, and there goes all your convective energy. Because all your cold cloud tops are going to be sitting around this storm somewhere here, the wind shear is going to be starting blowing those off. So for now, the storm is going to have to battle some wind shear. I'll see if we can get a satellite look of what it would look like, at least according to the GFS. You could see, yeah, you can already see, as far as this does go, actually, you can already see the storm starts to kind of get its act together a little bit. And then watch how, yeah, you can already see, if I animate the loop for you guys, you pull up fast enough, notice how it just gets kind of blown off. So let's play through again. Here comes the storm system moving through this way. All right, let's get ready for it. Here comes the storm system. We start to see some blossoming cloud tops, and then the cloud tops just get blown off to the top right because of that wind shear coming through. So the storm may not beat the shear, and if it doesn't, all right, then we could be talking about a tropical disturbance that is ragged, probably falling apart. But this is a low pressure that does stand out from the head. Little voice crack there, but this low pressure does stand out from the rest here. But it probably won't be developing into much. The National Hurricane Center has already been dropping the chances for this to develop, but still, a 30% chance of development is nothing to laugh at here, especially in the kind of tropical environment that we have. But again, the Pacific may not be quite active this year because the Atlantic is actually active. But sometimes they can both be active. Sometimes both basins can be inactive. But as the way it is looking, the Pacific should be a little bit less active this year, and Atlantic is going to have its turn, which it's pretty much had for the past 5 years. Well, not the past 5 years, but I'd say ever since 2017. So we're talking about the 17 hurricane season, 18, 19, and probably 20. All seasons where the Atlantic was active, just in the past few years. So here's your cyclonic energy, very ragged, not looking too circular. Maybe it could just be a tropical wave, could be a tropical depression at best. It does, because environmental conditions could change, so we could be looking at a tropical storm. I'm not saying it cannot become a tropical storm. I'm saying that the conditions right now are a little bit unfavorable, and I'm saying that the probabilities are a little bit low, in my opinion. But we can still see something come of this, whether it be a tropical depression, whether it be a tropical wave, or just a regular low pressure system. Probably 1009 millibars of pressure. Again, this isn't even an invest test. Not how can you tell which invest is what? For the Atlantic Basin, the invest will have a number on it, whether it be 90, 95, or whatever. And it'll have an L at the end of it. That's how you know it's in the Atlantic Basin. All right. If it says invest 90 or 95, whatever, and if it has an E on the end of it, that means it's in the Pacific Basin. All right, and then 95W or 95B, that's more like in the Indian Ocean or the West Pacific. All right, but the Canadian model doesn't really develop in terms of the surface winds at all either, actually. And again, here's your wind shear kind of just going whoop, and I go right in that direction too, kind of like that where that subtropical jet's going. That could feed the storm some moisture, but that's also gonna help to blow those cloud tops off the top of the storm system and really just help it lose its juice, unfortunately. So here's your low center, kind of hard to find it right there. And there's your wind shear kind of blowing all the clouds off to the top right and towards potentially the United States and Mexico. We're going to have to watch out and see exactly what happens there in that department. Now, from track to tropics here's some of the ensemble probabilities. And again, I can't go far out west enough, which is really out here, but you could kind of take a look at the development chances closer to Mexico. They actually do give this thing a 30-40% chance of developing here, closer to Central America, Nicaragua, Honduras, maybe even a 20-30% chance. Again, there's the low pressure. It'll track sort of this way, and then maybe track out here. Now this is, I believe, this is the this is the NCEP TC Genesis probabilities, and again, 20-30% here. But some of the ensemble models are giving that system in the Caribbean there, in the Atlantic side, a decent chance to develop. But even the story that's closer to Mexico and Central America, maybe 20-30% chance of development. We're gonna have to see. That's over the course of 0 to 120 hours. So we're gonna have to watch this for some potential development here. So stick around for updates, ring the bell notifications. Don't forget to subscribe. Thank you guys for watching. Stay tuned for more updates on the weather in general and on the tropics as we head through the summer. So thank you guys for watching. I am the Weather Dude signing off. Till next time. Catch you guys next video.